Thank you. I have to, first of all, start off with a disclaimer. All the views you're going to hear, the images you're going to see, are not my employer's views and not my employer's images. So please bear that in mind. This is a view from me. So I want you to think a little bit, because it's about us. So your first task as an active and participative audit is to close your eyes. So please, I can't actually see whether you have, but I tell you haven't. So please, everybody, close your eyes. I want you to imagine. I want you to think that you are actually aliens in a faraway galaxy, galaxies away. The 100 here are representatives from different planets across many galaxies, appointed by the Intergalactic Council in Gallifrey. That is you. So start to think about the images in your mind. Your council has decided that they've heard a lot of noise from a faraway galaxy, and they thought you ought to go and have a look. And you, 100, are appointed as representatives from the Intergalactic Council to go and observe this noisy planet that they've heard about far away. And because they'd sent some scouts out before that never got back, and they never understood why they didn't get back, they're sending a fleet of protection for you, but it's non-lethal fleet. They don't kill people. They don't kill anything. They've worked out a collective consciousness. So think about the Borg. You have a collective hive consciousness. That is, and anybody who's got their eyes open, penalty. At the moment, you're still thinking what you are. And whilst the Borg has a collective consciousness, it kills people. So you're not supposed to do that. You're just supposed to think collectively, collect images, and exercise a view on them. You may now open your eyes, and you're arriving at this noisy thing that you've been sent to have a look at. And in arriving it, you got your fleet with you, so that at least you know you've got your protection. So the 100 of you are going to go there, but you've got plenty of people from your various planets backing you up. So you start to have a look. Now you have the advantage of technology that enables you to travel in space and time, and in any improbability space and time you might want to go anywhere or think anything or see anything at any time, and you have a collective consciousness of that. And in your going around, what you see is this planet, and you start to observe it more closely. And you look, first of all, at the high points, because that's what you see first. And you look at the beauty of what is in this planet. And you observe it. You're gathering information. Your job is to observe, gather, try and understand. You look at the diversity in the places that you go. You look at the balance between the various species, their habitats, the geology, whatever it may be that enables these things to live together. You look at some of the splendors, and you start to see these things that the place calls humans. And everywhere you go, you see them in little places. And where they're in these type of places, they're generally mixing in okay. And you look at the oceans, you notice that a large part of this beautiful blue planet has got this stuff on it called water. So you start to look at the oceans and their splendor and beauty. And you see settlements and islands on it, and different colors. You see movement. You see light. You see species living in these spaces that are beautiful, engaging, friendly, playful. And again, you see the humans interacting with that space. You're trying to work out who's the dominant player on this place. You look at the largest, because you remember your previous travellers had noticed very large species, but some of them didn't get back because they got trod on. And now you find they're not there anymore. You understand the humans call those dinosaurs, but they're gone. And you're trying to work out, well, who is now dominant on this planet? And You look at the beauty in the places, whether it's coral reefs, open oceans, etc., and the playfulness of the creatures upon it. And again, you keep finding man interacting with it positively. You think, well, I'll go and have a look at they've got lots of green trees in all these type of places, so you go start looking over the forested areas, and you delve into that, and you discover that those areas have immense diversity of different things, different species, cohabiting that space. And in many of those places, you find man quietly fishing on the river, and the other species living happily around them. And you conclude looking across those forests, think, well, I'll go to somewhere which hasn't got so many forests. You look at the prairies and the open areas. And again, you find immense beauty, diversity, multiple species. You look at large numbers, coexistence, some friendliness, some flight. The odd ones looking at you thinking, who are you? And being friendly to each other. And you start to think, and again, you find humans interacting with those spaces. So you start to think about these humans, well, they seem to be everywhere. But you carry on looking, and you find other more populous items and other points of beauty, and you carry on going, looking at those things and thinking how beautiful a place this is. Maybe this is a place we can introduce ourselves to and join in our intergalactic peaceful movement of coexistence with our environments and each other. And you carry on looking and get more and more convinced that this is a beautiful place that these humans must cherish, must really want to live in peaceful harmony with. And as you go through that, you then think, well, I'll pay a little bit more attention to those humans. So you start to pay attention to those humans, and they're playful. They're joyous. They actually start to relate with the animals and coexist. They play and sometimes win. Personal prejudice there, but they do things together in stadia and sporting events. And no matter where they do that, they seem to have fun, and they look at you and engage with you. And you think, these people, these humans, they're actually very interesting. And I need to, perhaps, have a closer look. And you look, and you find large crowds of them. They have stadia where they make a lot of noise, and that starts to explain why you heard from them. That music thing that they said was on their rock recordings that they sent across the galaxy. This is what they do. And they party. They even have things called princes that kick footballs. And you think, all this diversity of humans, they appear to be in charge of this place. They appear to be the dominant species, and they appear to be fun. So you have your collective intergalactic conference again, and you communicate back with Gallifrey and discuss, does this not look like something that you could engage with and become another part of your galactic movement of people living together of different race, different colour, different creed, different faith, doesn't matter what? Could you do so? And you're given a sanction to go and look closer. You're allowed to get closer because you think that those humans have some form of symbiotic relationship with that planet because you've found species on there that do. So as you go through and report that back, you work out that this human is something that you could actually live with, could come and join you back in your galaxies, and could interact with you because they are good, decent, and have tried to develop what you think is a symbiotic relationship with the planet upon which they live. So you get this approval. It's not the Vogons giving the administrative approval. It is at least the Galactic Council, and they're still friendly, and they haven't sent anything to blow the planet up. So you get this interaction with this group, and you're allowed to look. So you start looking where lots of people are. Now, you remember when you went at the time of something called the Roman Empire, there were about 250 million of these people, and you thought, they seem to be a lot more now than the last time I looked at that. So you start looking at them a bit closer, and how they live, and where they live, and the type of places they build for people. And you start to just wonder about, is it a symbiotic relationship? Is this in balance? You remember Seneca saying that at the time of Christ, about being in balance with the laws of nature. And you kind of think, not sure that they are quite as symbiotic as they first appear. But let's keep looking. They get a bit crowded. There seem to be rather a lot of them in a small space. And they have innovative travel modes. So you kind of think, well, I get more space on my spaceship than they get on their train. So you start to think, no, actually, I'm not too sure we want to, but we'll keep looking. And you observe how they behave with each other. And the devices they use to look after each other. But you're not sure that's much looking after. And then how they actually use their technology and advances to deal with each other. And you think this period around 100 years ago, it looks quite interesting. Let's have a little closer look at what they do to each other during that period. And what you can learn from that about these things, that they talk about humanity, but you don't understand what humanity means. And you think, well, they do all of that, and then they plant them in the ground, and they put a memory up, and then they celebrate it. They put poppies up to celebrate it. What is this? Why do they do this to each other? What is it that makes them behave like that to each other? So you think, well, I'll find out. I'll go a little bit further and have another look. Oh, they obviously get popular leaders to get them together and rally them. But they rally them around destruction. They're quite happy killing each other. They celebrate the fact that they're good at killing each other. And they even set up factories to kill each other. And they're quite happy to stack each other and to leave them. And this is humanity. And they bomb each other. And they destroy places where they had previously gathered in fellowship and harmony. And they devise even more sophisticated things to kill each other. And they leave desolate areas sterilized for years. And they think this is how they treat each other. And this is what humanity is. But they're decent people, because obviously they plant them in the ground again and celebrate it and commemorate it and ensure that at some stage you can go and remember them. And some are bright and some are dark. And you think, well, I'll look on a bit more. But they've got even more sophisticated. And they can kill even more people. And they can fight and destroy. And then they found this thing called oil. And for some reason, they like fighting over it. And they like destroying everything around it in the name of it, because it is progress. And they look at each other. And you've got your people back up, just checking from the air, and see, well, this is the mark that they're making on this beautiful blue planet. This is what they think is progress. Then you look back a bit. And you found this thing called Easter Island in your intergalactic and space and time. And you think, why did humans exist on there and end up with ecocide that totally destroyed a place? Might they be on the way to doing the same thing to this blue planet? And you start to worry about it. And then you look again, and they're still doing it. And they're celebrating it. And they even celebrate challenging things and fighting each other in what they call their cities and their towns. And then you think, well, how do they deal with the rest of the stuff that they're relying on to survive? And those beautiful forests that you had seen earlier, they just strip. In the time of this presentation, they'll have taken probably something like 500 football pitches of that down in the time we're talking. And they think civilized living is that. Is this in balance with that beautiful planet? Is this what you want to stay with? Is this a race that you think you could coexist as space travelers with? This is how much they think of their lovely planet. This is how they think their people should live. This is what they do to other species. This is what they do to the air upon which they rely to breathe. This is what they think are qualities of life. This is how they stack people. This is how they destroy. This is how they say quality of life. This is the value of living with other things. This is living with animals. This is just people living in places. But they think this is okay. They think that our modern world is good. What is it with these humans? What is it about their lack of understanding? Can you, as 100 people from faraway galaxies, all different races, all different, could you risk these? Are they really in symbiotic relationship with this lovely blue planet or not? How is something so beautiful doing so much that is totally out of balance? So you start to have your further intergalactic conference and decide what you should do. And you start to think, well, perhaps this isn't symbiotic after all. You've observed other things that look a bit like it, not in the sense of what it does and what it looks like, but how it behaves and its willingness to make everything else extinct around it. They're called viruses. And you conclude in your intergalactic conference, actually, this lot called humans are actually viruses on this planet, and we best leave. So you leave. You're now back. You can come back to being humans. The only gift they've given you is they've left you with those images of what they saw humans as being. And what they left for is ecocide could end up by turning that beautiful thing into that. And this is what does it. How is that so? How is it when we knew in 1992 that if everybody lived like... In 1992 there was only about 5 billion people on the planet. In 1992, living like the North Americans, which is what everybody was aspiring to, was going to need 5 of it. If you look now, over that time, we're now on our way to 11 billion. We're heading towards that. How many planets does that need? 10? 20? But you just got 1. And the transformation we need to do is transform us, our behaviours, and our interactions just for that. That is the message. That's what you need to do. And if you don't want to do it for you, do it for them. Thank you.